Chapter 117, Operation. Joseph couldn't be happier at this turn of events. As he said, in a 50-card deck without the jokers, the chance of Shen Yao getting the 6 of diamonds was 1 in 50, and the chance of getting the 7 of diamonds was also another 1 in 50. Together, it was just nearly impossible to get both of them. So, Shen Yao probably only had a flush or a straight. It was definitely reasonable for Joseph to go all in with her. 20 million, I also raise. Joseph's face was radiant from happiness. The other player narrowed his eyes. In fact, Joseph and Shen Yao's hands were very similar. If they could get 2 cards of the same suit, then it would be a godly hand, or else his straight could beat both of them. But, he also became hesitant. One of those 2 most likely wouldn't have a flush, but if he were to bet that both of them didn't have a flush, then he wouldn't be as confident. After all, the revealed cards of those 2 were the same but of different suits, with one being diamonds and one being hearts, and he also didn't get any cards of those suits, so it was very likely for the diamonds and hearts to be in their face-down cards. At the thought of this, he hesitated on whether he should take the risk or not. After all, throwing down 20 million now meant he had to throw in a lot more money later on, and it would be miserable if he were to lose. Finally, this guy decided to fold. It's the 2 of us facing off again. To be honest, beautiful lady, don't you think this is destiny? Joseph laughed and said. Shen Yao threw in 50 million yuan in chips. Sure, destiny is here, but I don't know if our families are of the same class. I raise 50 million. Joseph was too excited. Just throw in as much money as you want. Today, in addition to the part I'm laundering, I'm also winning your money. I said before, I will follow you until the end. If the man isn't as bold as the woman, then how can he court her? Joseph said. Shen Yao, Mr. Joseph, I'm not a person that likes to lie. My hand was just like you said, a flush. Then, she threw in another 100 million. Joseph was already out of cash. So, he had no choice but to temporarily use some of his company's money. Originally, the money he lost was supposed to be the amount that the casino laundered for him, but who knew that Shen Yao would win it all? Now, he also couldn't get the casino to lend him money, so he could only use the company money. But that was fine since he wasn't going to lose anyways, or so he thought. 100 million, I'll raise as well. But, I don't believe that you have a flush. Joseph looked at Shen Yao and said, even if you do, I'm not scared. Shen Yao also looked towards Joseph. She wasn't stupid, and she could estimate the hand Joseph had. Joseph had a 3, a 5 and a 7 revealed, and he needed a 4 and a 6 of hearts in order to get a straight flush. However, even if the dealer gave him a 4 and a 6, he would only have a 7 high straight flush, whereas she had a 9 high. But, she couldn't let Joseph see how happy she was, or she might scare the big fish away. I feel that Mr. Joseph, you are indeed very rich. How much have you played today? I'm afraid the amount is probably over 100 million US dollars, so it would be even more when converted to yuan, Joseph said, but, that's not my limit. Oh really? Shen Yao provoked him, then I want to see what your limit is. I raise 200 million yuan. Ha 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 ha. Joseph was secretly dying of laughter on the inside. This round, it seemed like he was going to get all the money he lost back and perhaps even more. Then what was he waiting for? Since his opponent wanted to give him money, then he just needed to raise as well. I raise. Joseph rekindled a cigar and exhibited a satisfied temperament he hadn't shown before. Su Cheng then said to the bodyguard, go put on an act. Pretend to try to talk her out of it. The bodyguard got closer to Shen Yao and whispered, young madam, I think we should get back now. At this moment, Joseph really wanted to cut off that bodyguard's tongue. Although the bodyguard was whispering, he chose a volume that was just loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. Shen Yao lowered her voice and said to the bodyguard, but my hand's a bit better than before, I think I can win. Joseph and the others first paused for a moment. Better than before? Was she referring to the round she won? Didn't she have straight that round? And a bit better than that round, so she had a flush this round? Although Shen Yao's voice was low, Joseph still heard, and the smile on his face became brighter. Are you planning to fold now? If yes, then I'm going to take away the chips, Joseph immediately said. Who said I'm folding? Shen Yao gritted her teeth. I'll raise another 500 million. Joseph suddenly began coughing. Shen Yao lifted her brows. Mr. Joseph, could it be that you got scared? Are you at your limit already? Nope. Joseph patted his chest. I wasn't scared, I was just shocked that you really don't know how to play. Joseph immediately got his company's foreign exchange account to take out a line of credit of 200 million US dollars, and he directly put down 500 million yuan as well. I call. Shen Yao only had the 1 billion yuan Su Cheng gave her. Plus Su Cheng's real estate that could be used as collateral, she had a total of 1.6 billion yuan to work with. Seeing how hesitant she was, Su Cheng immediately said to her. Just call, don't chicken out. You chickening out will spell bankruptcy for me now. If you feel guilty about me losing all my money, then you just need to cover my meals in the future. In her heart, Shen Yao said to herself, deal. If that was really the case, then she really hoped Su Cheng would lose all his money. 500 million. After Shen Yao raised, she looked at Joseph, her eyes filled with determination. Joseph began panicking a bit. After all, there was so much money on the table, and his opponent seemed to be going all in. Normally, if someone did that, then the decision must be backed by a strong hand. At the thought of this, Joseph looked towards the dealer, hoping for some advice. In the past few rounds, the dealer constantly gave him looks since he could check on Shen Yao's hand with the hidden camera. But now, the camera got blocked, and the dealer also wasn't confident anymore as well. Sensing Joseph's look, the dealer could only lower his head and not give an answer. Fack it! Joseph slammed the desk and shouted, 500 million. Shen Yao immediately responded, 1 billion. Joseph's eyes twitched. Taking another look at his hand, it was a straight flush. What was he scared of? Just because the woman that had been hesitating now became more determined? How could he be suppressed by a woman? I'm the tail this round, 1 billion, let's reveal. Joseph felt the round should end now, or both sides would be out of money to put on the table. Revealing his two face-down cards, he said, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a straight flush. Let's just say you got lucky and got a flush, but so what? Can you beat me? Beautiful lady, I told you, you really don't know how to play. Shen Yao flipped over her 7 of diamonds, and then she flipped over her last face-down card. Then what about another straight on top of the flush? On the table, the cards making up a 9 high straight flush were all displayed. Joseph's eyes almost popped out after seeing this, and he immediately fell from the chair. Su Cheng took out the earpiece from his ear right away, and sure enough, for someone like Shen Yao who had never won this much money before, she delivered an unprecedented scream at the very next moment, one with a dolphin-like high pitch that could pierce a man's eardrum. The bodyguard immediately began helping Shen Yao pack up the chips. Joseph suddenly climbed up from the ground, grabbed onto the dealer's collar, and shouted, "You dare to play me like this? Go and fucking get your boss out!" Then, he punched the dealer in the face out of anger and immediately took out his phone to directly call the middleman behind this money laundering deal. Su Cheng immediately told the technician, "Eavesdrop on his phone call right now. See who he's calling." The officer nodded and got on it right away. Joseph naturally didn't know that his phone was being tracked. The moment the call went through, the technician immediately said in amazement, "Captain Su, it's Chongqing." "Su Cheng, record the call." Joseph went to the washroom and shouted, "You motherfucker, give me an explanation. Just now, I didn't get a single cent from the money I'm laundering, and I even lost 300 million of my company's money. Mr. Qin, are you playing me?" On the other end, Chongqing's face immediately changed. "Mr. Joseph, calm down. I think we are getting sniped today. How about this, let's temporarily pause for today, and I will get you the money that's supposed to be laundered to you through the underground money house first." Joseph was not satisfied. "Then what about the $300 million I lost?" "Chongqing, Mr. Joseph, the casino doesn't have that much money to give you. Go with my people right now, and they will take you to the underground money house. I will meet you there and talk to you." "Joseph, okay." Not long after, Joseph left with one of the managers of the casino in a Mercedes sedan. Su Cheng immediately said to the mic, "Li Chao, Wu Gang, commence the operation. There's a Mercedes S600 sedan with plate number, tail him." Having long been ready on standby, Li Chao and Wu Gang immediately became energetic and answered, "Yes, sir." Then, they got into an undercover car, and their GPS received the satellite tracking signal from the technicians at the command center. Su Cheng immediately said to the undercover police officer responsible for protecting Shen Yao, "Keep her safe, evacuate her right away." Then, Su Cheng said to the other officers at the command center, "Tell the tax bureau that they can move now." "Yes, sir." The technician immediately picked up the phone and dispatched the team from the tax bureau that had been on standby, who directly went into the casino for a raid. Today, a lot of cash there would have unclear sources, and this time, they wouldn't have the time to prepare the books.